Alright, gun's clear. Nothing in the magazine. Okay. This gun is clear. Nothing in the magazine. Okay. Alright, today we're going over questions and answers pertaining to the use of deadly force for lawful self-defense in the state of Florida. It has another side to it, and there's a bunch of information. I'm not going to be able to get to all of it, but I'm going to get to what I think is important that you may need to know if you live in Florida or ever coming to Florida. And as of October 1st, 2005, changes relate to the protection of persons and property, authorizing a person to use force, including deadly force, against an intruder or attacker in a dwelling, residence, or vehicle under specified circumstances. Creating a presumption that a person acts with the intent to use force or violence under specified circumstances, the justification in using deadly force under certain circumstances, the lack of a duty to retreat, and a person's right to stand his or her ground and meet force with force if that person is in a place where he or she has the right to be and the force is necessary to prevent death or great bodily harm or the commission of a forcible felony. So you're at Walmart, you're at a gas station, you're eating, you're doing whatever you're doing, you have the right to use force with force. You don't have to run. And that is a great thing, I think. Alright, so we're going to flip it over. What kind of weapons are included in the concealed weapons law in Florida? Concealed weapons or firearms as follows: handguns, electronic weapons or devices, tear gas guns, knives, and billies. What if I am in my vehicle? A person has no duty to retreat in his lawfully occupied vehicle against a person who was in the process of unlawfully and forcibly entering, or had unlawfully and forcibly entered an occupied vehicle, or had unlawfully and forcibly removed or was attempting to remove another against that person's will from the occupied vehicle. When can I use my handgun to protect myself? Florida laws justifies use of deadly force when you are trying to protect yourself or another person from death or serious bodily harm, trying to prevent a forcible felony such as rape, robbery, burglary, or kidnapping. Use or displaying a handgun in any other circumstance could result in your conviction for crimes such as improper execution of a firearm, assault, manslaughter, or worse. What if someone is attacking me in my own home? The courts have created an exception to the duty to retreat called the Castle Doctrine. Under the Castle Doctrine, you need not retreat from your own home to avoid using deadly force against an assailant. Castle Doctrine applies if you are attacked in your own home by an intruder or an invited guest. So if they're invited and they come in here and try to set you up, you can still use deadly force if need to be. What if I am in my own place of business and someone comes to rob me? Do I have to retreat before using deadly force? The Castle Doctrine also applies when you are in your place of business if you are in danger of death or great bodily harm, or you are trying to prevent a forcible felony. You do not have to retreat before using deadly force in self-defense. When can I use deadly force in the defense of another person? This is very important. If you see someone who is being attacked, you can use deadly force to defend him or her if the circumstances would justify that person's use of deadly force in his or her own defense. In other words, you stand in the shoes of the person being attacked. So if I'm driving down the street and you have a gun to your head, or whatever, any circumstance like that, I can intervene and help you if I see fit need to be. Now that is great. That's my opinion. I mean, I would like to help someone out because I know what it feels like. It's not good. What if I see a crime being committed? A license to carry a concealed weapon does not make you a freelance policeman. Duh, I'd be one. But as stated earlier, deadly force is justified if you are trying to prevent the imminent commission of a forcible felony. The use of deadly force must be absolutely necessary to prevent the crime. Also, if the criminal runs away, you cannot use deadly force to stop him because you would no longer be preventing a crime. Duh. If use of deadly force is not necessarily, or you use deadly force after the crime is stopped, you could be convicted of manslaughter. Now, we're going to go over what I had to do in order to get my license. Okay? Now, I had to take a 4-hour safety class, basically. Jesus, fucking phone. And after that, I had to get a fill out this piece of paper, make sure you're not a crazy person, make sure you have no problems, no criminal background, misdemeanors, felonies, etc. Then I had to get that piece of paper notarized, and then I had to pay $75 to the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Service Division of Licensing for the license, and then you got to go get fingerprinted, which is $35 if you do it electronically, and send it in. And then it took me 16 days to get my permit, and after 11 days they had already sent it in the mail, so it took 5 days in the mail. So if anyone's thinking about getting a license in Florida, that's pretty much what you have to go through, and that's about it. So hopefully this will help somebody out, and if you're coming to Florida, now you know what you can and can't do. Alright guys, see ya. Stay safe.